Dave, how do I raise money if I don't have a track record of doing actual deals?
There are millions of real estate investors out there, and most are stuck with just a couple of properties. They want financial freedom, but their small portfolio ends up costing them more in time, effort, and money than it's worth. Getting out of the rat race seems harder than ever. This show will help you do more deals, better deals, and bigger deals. Finally, you'll be able to reach your income and lifestyle goals. How? By attracting and leveraging private money partners and their capital. Now get ready to raise more money, because here's your host, Dave Dubeau.
Hey there, this is Dave. And one of the questions I get asked quite often by new capital raisers is, Dave, how do I raise money if I don't have a track record of doing actual deals? So we get quite a few people who are very enthusiastic about investing in real estate. They've taken courses and training, and they want to jump in and they want to raise capital right from the get-go, but it's a bit of a catch-22, right? So the question is, if I haven't done a deal and I need the money to do it, how can I raise that capital if I don't have that track record? I don't have that credibility. So first things first, let's have some realistic expectation. Is it possible to raise money without ever having done a real estate deal? Yes, of course it is possible, but it's not going to be easy. I would be doing you a complete disservice if I said, yeah, it's easy peasy. You'll just charge right in and people will throw money at you. That's not how it works, right? So at the very least, you have to have the knowledge and the training under your belt before you start approaching people about investing with your deal. So let me give you 5 different options when it comes to getting started with raising capital to do your first deal. So option number 1 is to self-finance. So if you have the financial ability, I highly recommend that you put your own money into the deal and that you own it and control it completely yourself, because that is going to be the fastest way for you to really learn, for you to have credibility, for you to have your own skin in the game and get that hands-on experience. Now, here's the good news. You don't have to do tons of deals. You only have to do one deal. Or as my friend Barry McGuire says, get that first damn deal done, right? So option number 1 is self-finance your deal. Now, option number 2, if you've got the money, but you don't have the confidence, perhaps you might want to partner with somebody who is actively doing what you want to do. And instead of being a passive investor in their deal, say, hey, you know what? I want to invest in your deal, but I also want to be actively involved. I want to be a joint venture partner. I want to take an active role in this. I want to learn as I go because I want to do my own kinds of deals like this moving ahead. So you partner up with somebody, they've got the experience, you've got the cash, you work together on the deal, and you're probably going to split the profits 50-50, but that's okay. You're getting the experience. They're taking you along on their journey. And all you have to do is get that first deal done. Now you're ready to start raising capital. So that's option number 2. Partner up with somebody who's doing what you want to do. Be the money partner for them, but take an active role in that. Option number 3, that's kind of a gross picture, is put in some sweat equity. So if you don't have any money and you don't have any experience, same idea. Find an active investor who's doing the kind of deals that you want to do and make them an offer they can't refuse. Say, hey, you know what? I want to learn how to do this. I'm willing to work for equity. I'm not looking for a paycheck. I'm willing to work for equity. Now you got to be realistic about this. If you don't have any money, you don't have any much skill, you don't have any experience, you're not going to get very much equity in the deal. But even if you just get a teensy-weensy little sliver of that deal, you can use that as an example moving ahead. You can point to that and say, hey, here's a deal that I was involved in. Here's a deal I was a partner in. I was active and involved in, and you were. And then you use that as that case study for moving ahead. So I know lots of people that have done this. They work for experience and they work for a little sliver of the deal. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have experience throwing hammers around and all that kind of stuff, but whatever skill set you can bring to the table and offer to that active investor that makes their life easier, that makes them willing to bring you on board as a partner, that's going to be a huge value for them and for them. And who knows, you might actually create a long-term relationship with that person. So if you don't have the cash, you don't have the experience, you can put in some sweat equity. Here's another idea here. If you've got some of the money, but not all of the money, perhaps you can partner up with some other people and combine forces. You're going to put in your money, they're going to put in their money, and you're going to just tell them up front, hey, I don't have any experience doing this, but I'm putting my own skin in the game and I'm looking for partners to come along. And you might have to be extra generous with folks here. It might not be depending on how much money you're putting in, you might not get 50% of the deal if you're not putting in 50% of the money, but that's okay. You want to get that experience and you want to make sure that your investors' capital is covered, right? So if you need to personally guarantee their money, or you need to put a second mortgage on another property that you own, or whatever it is to really secure those investors' capital, do that. Because again, you only need to do one like this to get that experience, to use that as a case study for raising capital moving ahead. Now, option number 5, last but not least, let's say you do convince somebody to invest with you in your very first deal. Chances are this would be your mom or your dad or a very close friend or relative or a spouse or somebody like that. Again, don't BS anybody. Don't tell them that you've got experience if you don't. Be honest with them. And I'm going to suggest that they put all the money in, you do all the work, but you're going to be extra generous with the profit split. So you're going to make sure that they are covered, whatever the money they put into the deal, that's covered first. And then you're going to share on the profits on top of that, but you might want to be extra generous with them. Instead of a 50-50 split, perhaps it's 70-30 in their favor, even 80-20 in their favor, heck, even 90-10, 90% of the profits going to them, 10% to you, just to get that first darn deal done. All right. Because again, that is the whole goal. The goal is for you to get a little bit of a track record. You don't need to have a huge track record, but at least one deal under your belt that you can use as an example and show people what it's like to work with you, what kind of experience you have in real estate investing. Again, if you got one deal under your belt, you're already ahead of 95% of the general population that has never done a revenue deal. So here are the options. Again, quick recap, 5 different options. If at all possible, use your own money to do your first deal, self-finance that first one, get that experience, and then you can use it as a case study. Another option is partner up with somebody who's actively doing what you want to do and be their money partner, but don't be a passive investor, be an active investor. Say, hey, I want to pay to play. I want to be involved in this deal financially, and I also want to learn what you're doing and how you're doing it as we go through, and then partner up with somebody that way. Number 3, if you don't have any money, but you do have some skills, doesn't need to be, construction skills necessarily, bring that to the table for an investor, and not for a paycheck, but instead for a tiny sliver of equity in that deal so that you can use that as a legitimate case study. All right. Number 4, if you got some money, but not all of the money, partner up with 1 or 2 other people. You be the leader on that one. And perhaps depending on how much money you have in the deal, you're not even doing a 50-50 split. You're getting less than that. You're still doing all the work, but that's okay. You want the experience. It's all about that experience. And number 5, if you are able to convince somebody to invest with you, even with no money and no track record, then be extra generous with that person for that first deal, because they're taking a big chance on you. So they should be rewarded appropriately. Now, here's the good news. All you need to do is be extra generous on that first deal, get that proof of concept, get that experience, and then moving ahead, you can move into 50-50 type splits. All right. So there you go. There are 5 different ways to get started if you don't have a track record already in real estate investing. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got value out of that. If you like this, I'm going to suggest go check out our free Facebook group. It's the same name as the podcast, the How to Raise Capital 101 group. And you can find that on Facebook. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon. This episode is brought to you by MoneyPartnerFormula.com. Our Money Partner Formula service allows you to raise all the private capital you need to do all the deals you want while we handle the hard stuff. We offer reliable and affordable done-for-you marketing services that get you investor meetings booked without all the work. So go ahead and check out the website right now, and then feel free to schedule a call with me, and let's take your portfolio to the next level. Again, that's MoneyPartnerFormula.com.
Watch investor meetings pop up in your calendar. We handle the rest.